think one thing that did it surprise me? I don't think it did surprise me. That even when you were in uni, when you were studying, was the fact that you started promoting plant-based foods. However, you were told that you had an agenda.
Yeah, I know. What is that? Oh, my goodness. So, again, we're not talking in the 70s or 80s. We're talking 2016, 2017. I graduated in 2018. And I had to do an assignment on a fictional client, elderly lady who was having osteoporosis and needed to up her calcium intake. And of course, I went and got all the latest studies on calcium and non-dairy calcium, and I put them in the paper, and I got a C. And and Callum, I don't know about you, but I'm not a C student, right? And I was devastated. It's like the first C I've ever got. And I was like, oh. And I thought, I'm going to check all my studies again. And I checked all the studies, and, there were studies from respected researchers like Dr. Neil Barnard from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And they were real studies. The thing about nutrition studies is a lot of times you can't have a randomized controlled blind study. And for those people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's when you take two groups of people, one group of people you give the treatment to, and it's usually in the form of a pill. And then the other group of people you give the treatment, you give them a placebo, which is also in the form of a pill. So neither of the people know, are they taking the treatment or are they taking the placebo? Well, that's impossible to do with nutrition studies because you're either eating dairy or not eating dairy. You're either eating plant-based products or you're not eating, you know what I mean? So people kind of know. So some scientists think it's not the highest level of evidence, but I disagree because it's real life evidence. Yes, you can't eliminate all the things that could interfere, because it's a real life situation. People do what they do. Sometimes people lie about what they ate or whatever. In fact, mostly all the time, people lie about what they ate. But on the whole, if you give somebody a diet that is plant-based and healthy, and then you give somebody a diet that is not plant-based and, in my mind, considered unhealthy, and then see the differences, I think that's a valid study. That's a valid study. So I was using these studies, they're called epidemiological studies. I was using these studies, and I got. So that was sad, but I called a friend who had already graduated, and she is married to a plant-based doctor, and she's been plant-based for years and years. And I had a little bit of a whinge to her, and she said, Terry, don't worry about it. All you care about is getting that piece of paper, that degree. It's a C. Don't freak out, and just do what they want, learn the stuff, get the degree, and then go and teach the people the truth. And so that's what I've done.